I'm kind of excited about this one. The most famous killing in history. Oh, it's killing? Bro, I thought it was killings. We'll see, maybe.
It's the 15th of March, 44 BC, in Rome. The most powerful man in the Roman Republic.
Bro, this might make me fall asleep. I don't know. I don't know if we'll do this a lot. Let me give it like 2 minutes.
The dictator Julius Caesar walks through the doors of the Curia of Pompey, the temporary gathering point for the Roman Senate's meetings. The usual venue, the Roman Forum, a kilometre to the southeast, is undergoing renovations to build a new Senate house in Caesar's name, and is unavailable. The Curia, meaning meeting place in Latin, is located at the eastern point of a large open courtyard known as the Portico of Pompey. Compared to the Forum, it's rather secluded. It has no direct access to the side streets of Rome, and the only exits lead directly onto the portico. Today, this area is occupied by a large group of armed gladiators, who are loitering near the Curia entrance, trying to stay inconspicuous.
Bro, they had it like walled off to like the public and stuff. That's crazy. That's like worse than how it is like currently, you know? That's like in the middle of everyone, and then you just wall everybody out because they're not like, I don't know, royalty like you, or who I don't know who stays in here.
Inside the Curia, senators are nervously milling about. They watch as Caesar takes a
it's kind of like a capital, like a Greek capital
on
kind
his
of
golden
thing.
ceremonial chair at the front of the room. Caesar's right-hand man and closest ally, his co-consul Mark Antony, who had been with him before he entered, is nowhere to be seen. Unbeknownst to him, Antony is nearby, just outside, but he's being distracted by another senator. Caesar is alone.
They kill him
Across the
here?
room, a
No
man
way.
rises from the benches.
Yo, I thought there was like a few, like 3 or 4 guys in there when they killed him. I didn't know it was this many fucking people. Like, this is a class.
Starts walking towards him.
No, just like that? Bro, this intro, that's wild. And then it looks like a sponsor. Okay.
We have to understand how he got here. In the eyes of Rome's political elite, Caesar had grown too powerful. Over the course of an almost 40-year career, he reached Rome's highest public office, consul. He conquered all of modern-day France and Belgium and parts of Switzerland, Germany, and the Netherlands. By all accounts, he was a military genius and charismatic.
Bro, that time period and everything is just crazy. Like, it doesn't even feel like that was a real thing. Like, it feels like people weren't even around, but they fucking were.
Too. His armies, comprised of Roman legions, became loyal to him and only him.
Bro, they're like more barbaric and stuff, but they seem like better than us. Like, how are we like not more advanced? Unless, like, I don't know, like advanced is like TikTok brain. It's fucking lame.
His many victories with them made him fabulously wealthy. Finally, he had a habit of pandering to the masses, opposing unpopular policies and presenting himself as a man of the people. He became very popular. Perhaps too popular. In 49 BC, fearing Caesar was becoming larger than Rome, the Senate, alongside his chief rival, Pompey the Great, moved against him. They attempted to recall him from his campaign in Gaul and strip him of his military command. A command which gave him legal immunity under Roman law. Sensing that his enemies wished to prosecute him and curb his power on his return to the city, Caesar made a fateful decision. With a legion of soldiers in tow, he crossed the Rubicon River in northern Italy. The river marked the border between the Roman heartland and its other provinces, and by Roman law, all returning generals had to disband their armies and lay down their arms before crossing it, as to avoid internal conflicts. By deliberately ignoring this, Caesar started a civil war.
Bro, by crossing a line, started an entire civil war between a massive amount of space. Oh my god.
One that would last 4 years and span the entire republic. In March of 45 BC, he would win that civil war, having defeated Pompey the Great, the only man that could rival him in influence and wealth. This made him
Wow.
the undisputed most powerful man in Rome. The Senate, an institution that once sought to reduce his power and influence, elected him to the consulship a further 3 times. And finally, in February of 44
Dude, if you can't beat him, join him. That's crazy.
BC, granted him the title of dictator for life.
No way.
For a time before the foundation of the Roman Republic,
Dude, how much higher praise does it get? That's like peak.
Rome had been ruled by kings. Tyrannical.
Why was he so good, though, you think? What made him, like, so, like, obviously the decision-making, because he's not being, like, reactive in that. Like, he's obviously moving forward and doing what he needs to do. But then he's, like, smart enough to, like, join with the people that are against him as well. Like, that has to be, two-way street kind of thing. They both have to agree. And obviously the weaker agreed because they just couldn't handle him. You know, like wonder what it was about him that made him like so strong or influential to people. Standing against capital punishment, I guess. Bread and games for all. Like have a bit of fun involved as well. Like, I wonder if they'll get into that.
He began wearing opulent royal garbs and constructing statues of himself in public. His allies called for extravagant celebrations in his honor and proposed and later succeeded in changing the month of Quintilis, the month he was born, to Julius.
To Julius. Is that what July used to be? That's crazy. I was born in July, so I used to be born in Julius.
A golden chair designed specifically for him, the chair upon which...
Yo, what's with the money back then? How does that even happen? They just like have a reserve of gold and they're like, oh, we'll make a chair out of this shit. The fuck?
A group of about 60 are diverse in their backgrounds. A few are former allies who felt their loyalty to him had not been sufficiently rewarded. Some are remnants of the Pompeian faction, the group that fought Caesar during the Civil War under Pompey the Great, a group he, perhaps foolishly, pardoned. A handful simply oppose his accumulation of power out of principle, fearing he would destroy the state's republican values.
So nobody likes him in this room? That's great. Everyone outside the room likes him, and that's a problem for them. Because he has too much influence. He's too much of the good guy.
Most, however, are members of the conservative aristocracy, who profit greatly from Rome's republican form of government as they monopolize the Senate and thus oppose Caesar's centralization of power. These men have been meeting in secret for months to hatch a plan to kill him. They considered assassinating him in public on a street in Rome.
And then that's so much bigger than just being like, oh my God, we're mad at him. Like he's just a bad, president or senator or whatever. Like we're just going to get rid of him. Like he's actually like keeping an entire country from, the elites doing what they need to do. That's why nobody that comes in is actually going to do anything like crazy, because you'll get outed by everybody. They all have an interest in you not exposing the secrets or doing, going too far or anything like that.
Known as the Via Sacra. This was probably abandoned because the venue was too public. Any ally of Caesar's, if they were nearby, could simply intervene. Caesar had no bodyguards on payroll while in the city, but he was known to surround himself with some particularly intimidating friends to compensate. Another questionable idea was flinging him from a bridge and placing a number of armed men below it to ensure the fall would be...
Bro, so he knew he was in danger. I would immediately be freaked out in the beginning when your guy's not with you, like one of your main guys.
Fatal. They also considered
Maybe
striking
he knew it
while he was at a gladiator show, as they could hide the assassins in plain sight, posing as gladiators. Ultimately, though, a Senate session on the 15th of March was selected to be the best time to strike. Soon after this date, Caesar would be outside of the city on a military campaign to defeat...
Oh, and the fact that they didn't choose to do any of the other two methods and they did this one? Like, why? Those seem just as...
the Dacians and the Parthian
effective.
Empire to Rome's east, making it far more difficult for them to reach him and allowing him to accumulate even more glory, prestige, and power. Choosing a Senate meeting made sense, too. All those present were sure to be unarmed, as it was generally prohibited to bring weapons into the Senate House, making resistance unlikely. Most of the Senate were indeed loyal to Caesar, but even his closest allies would think twice to spring to his defense when faced with a blade. Additionally, in a closed Senate meeting, Caesar could be dealt with more subtly, away from the prying eyes and ears of the public and Caesar's informal protection. So, on the day of the 15th, daggers are secretly brought into the Curia of Pompey in wooden boxes usually used to carry writing tablets.
You need that many?
Before Caesar's arrival, members of the conspiracy retrieve the blades and conceal them underneath their togas.
Yeah, bro, you can't have people wearing shit like that no more. Like, they're just gonna be hiding a whole AK under there.
Inside the building, the conspirators deploy a group of armed gladiators to cover the Curia's exits, ensuring that Caesar won't get far should he try to escape. They are owned by the senator Decimus Brutus, a man that Caesar considers to be a close friend and ally, a man named second in his will, a man that Caesar trusts. Caesar would not question the presence of the gladiators, knowing them to be Decimus's. Finally, when Caesar arrives...
Yo, he's stabbing him in the back? That's crazy. And he's the second guy in your will? That's nuts.
...with his co-consul Mark Antony, a senator by the name of Gaius Trebonius pulls him aside and begins to speak with him. Antony is a big, brawny man, and his loyalty to Caesar is without question. The conspiracy thought it wise to take him out of the equation and ensure he did not intervene in Caesar's defense. Though the conspirators originally considered murdering the both of them together, they thought the optics of killing Caesar alone would be better. It would appear like the just killing of a tyrant, and not an arbitrary massacre.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to have killed... Like, that's what it seemed like now, because we know it was just the one.
The stage is now set. All that remains is for the signal to be given. That
Bro,
signal
so how many people witnessed him die?
Is Senator Tullius Cimber. As he marches towards the dictator, he exclaims loudly that Caesar should pardon his brother and return him from exile. Suddenly, dozens of other senators rise from their seats, and they too start approaching Caesar, shouting words of support for Cimber's request. The senators circle him like sharks in the water, growing ever closer, until Cimber thrusts out his fist and tears Caesar's toga down, revealing the tunic underneath. Startled, Caesar recoils and shouts. Moments later, the senator Publius Casca strikes the first blow.
Bruh, doing that, one person doing that shit is bad enough, and you got 8 people got the same idea. Like, that's fucking horrible, man.
From behind, with a dagger thrust that grazes Caesar's shoulder. He rises in shock, twirls around, and allegedly stabs Casca with a pen in retaliation.
Good, stab that bitch.
But alas, the pen is not mightier than the sword. In seconds, Caesar becomes enveloped by a shroud of togas and collapses under a hail of daggers. 2 Caesar loyalists try to break through to defend him, but they are pushed back. Marcus Brutus...
Okay, I was gonna say, ain't nobody in there trying to help him? God damn, but 2 people? I don't know. Or a few people? I don't know.
A leading conspirator and former Pompeian stabs Caesar in the groin amid the frenzy. A truly humiliating blow.
What? Bro, just because you're mad he's taken away from, like, your shit? Like, that's so lame. People like the guy.
After inflicting 23 stab wounds, the crowd of assassins stand back and admire their...
Bro, but honestly, there's been, like, single-handed people that do that shit, like, by themselves, like, 3 to 4 times over. So, that's not bad.
work.
I mean, you're dead either way. That's too many stab wounds.
The king, the tyrant, is dead. In a twist of irony, Caesar would bleed out beneath a statue of his former Civil War rival, Pompey the Great.
Oh no.
A statue he had refused to tear down.
He refused to tear it down. He wanted a reminder of him winning. What is the rest of this?
According to classical sources, a month before his demise in February of 44 BC, he visited a fortune teller by the name of Spurina. He brought to her an animal to be sacrificed, and it is said that on the altar she could not find its heart in its chest cavity. Seeing this as a bad omen, she warned,
Bruh. I don't know about all that, man. He got into some weird shit. I was just talking about that and he got into it with some weird... What is this?
not to attend the Senate meeting, for she had dreamt their house had collapsed and seen visions of her holding Caesar's bloodied, lifeless corpse.
Don't tell me your wife said don't go and you went anyway.
Caesar was, by Roman standards, not particularly superstitious, but the mounting signs were enough to put even him at unease. To be sure, he summoned his own seers and had them conduct sacrificial rituals.
Bro, do some real shit. Like, what are you fighting demons with demons for?
That determined the fate of the Republic. Caesar's adoptive son, Octavian, and his former consul, Mark Antony, would form an alliance with one of Caesar's most trusted generals, Marcus Lepidus.
Yeah, dude, what do you do at that point? I mean, you know everyone in there is like a traitor. So, like, fuck them. Like, don't ever give them another chance. And then there you go, giving them a chance by, well, I mean, you have to pair up. So, it's just a bad idea anyway to do, like, a coup.
Leading ultimately to the fall of the Republic and the rise of a hereditary monarchy under the Roman Empire.
Okay. Hey, that was a really good video, actually. That was super solid. A little more serious, but no, I like that, though. That was interesting. All right, and then I'm actually going to do... Shit. No, I'll do this one. Let's do this one. Smile Direct Club, the $8.9 billion scam that ruined smiles. I remember seeing commercials for this shit when I used to watch, like, wrestling on TV when I was, like, 10. You know? Like...